In this video, I'm going to show you how I saved this table from splitting down the middle and becoming firewood. All right, to get that table repair started, the first thing we need to do is actually cut out some bow ties. So we have a couple pieces of English walnut here on the CNC table already. I just need to secure them down. I don't often use my CNC, to be honest. I would probably more often draw these by hand and cut them out on a bandsaw. But we have the CNC here. It just collects dust a lot of the time, and sometimes I feel guilty that I spent too much money on something that doesn't get used enough. So we're going to do it today, in case my wife is watching. So what we're going to do is secure these down one at a time, and then run over to the computer, quickly design the bow ties that we're going to use, and I'll show you how I do that as well with screen capture, and then cut them out, and we can start the actual inlay process. All right, so we're going to open a new file here. Our dimensions we already have set, and then we're going to hit OK. And then the first thing we'll start to do here is set some guidelines so it's easier for us to draw out this shape. We'll go ahead and mark the edges of the workspace, which represents the same size of board that we have on the CNC table right now. And then we're going to add a few more in just to space things out evenly. All right, once we're laid out like this, it's time to start drawing. So we just grab our line draw tool and very simply run from the top corner over to that marker that we made. And then we're making a simple bow tie drawing. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about how I use the Vectric Aspire software, but if you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments and I'll help however I can. I know it can be a pretty steep learning curve, and I wasn't exactly an expert when I started using it. Or I guess I'm still not an expert. All right, now as you can see here, I very rarely let the CNC actually cut all the way through. And the reason I do that is because I don't want to gum up the end of my end mill with the two-sided tape that I use to secure these to the spoil board. I'm also not too keen on the ability for it to get loose when you've cut all the way through the solid piece. So this is just much easier. It's the process that I use. So what I do next is I take this to the bandsaw right here, and we're going to cut around this very loosely, just enough to expose that thin layer underneath, and then we take it over to the router table and finish it off. Now that we have two bow ties cut out, it's time to place them. Now you'll see that they're both actually the same size. I changed my mind halfway through the making process because where I need them on this table, it actually benefits me to have two large ones. So the first one is going to come out closer to the edge right around here and just cover the one crack up the middle just like that. And then the other one, we're going to actually place it kind of across here like this, and this will help us stop two checks from splitting, because this piece here that runs from here to here actually is barely attached without the help of any of these bow ties. So we're going to have it like that. Next, I've applied some double stick tape, and we're just very carefully going to stick these in the place that we want them here. So right there. And let's go right about there is perfect. Make sure they're on there nice and secure. And now with a nice sharp marking knife, we're going to score around the edge using the flat side of our blade up against the wood, like so. And what we're actually looking to get here is a nice clean line that perfectly outlines the bow tie. So rather than pushing hard, we'll go over this a few times, nice and light. Once we're done the entire outline of both bow ties, we just pop off the bow tie with our knife very carefully. And there we have a perfect outline where we're going to come back with the router and chisel. All right, looks like we're all done with this one. The table has been flattened, 2 new bow ties installed for a bit more stability, and this one's ready to go back to the client to put their own finishing touches on it. Thanks for hanging out with me this week. It feels a little bit weird talking to a camera still, but it's almost like you're here with me in the shop. Kind of. I'll see you next time.